Happy Halloween, everybody. It is Encounters USA, and we have a special show. It's Halloween of 2025, and we are going to be talking about a bunch of cool stuff. We're going to be talking about Three Eye Atlas. We're going to be talking about my latest documentary, and we're actually going to see the trailer. So a lot of stuff coming up on this exciting Halloween of 2025. So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button. Hello everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Encounters USA. I'm your host, Matthew Hines, or today I'm an alien, but just to keep from scaring all you guys, I'll just let you know that I'm not actually a real alien. So I haven't got off of that three-eye atlas that's floating around the atmosphere or around the solar system yet, so you can be assured that I am a flesh and blood human being, Homo sapien. So let's start off by talking about some of the exciting news coming out of Encounters USA, and that is, as I mentioned earlier, I have a new movie out. That's right, the new movie is titled Olympic National Park Missing 911 Staircase Trail. Now, if you can probably tell from the title that this movie is about missing people in the Olympic National Park, and what I've done is I've gone through and looked at some of the mysteries of people that have gone missing, and I have used remote viewers to come up with some very interesting solutions or answers to what happened to these people. So that movie is just finished, and I'm submitting it to distributors, and we'll see who is lucky enough to pick it up, and I'll let you know when it is out on Tubi and when it is out on your favorite streaming network. So that is really the big news, and without too much ado, so here's the trailer to Olympic National Park Missing 911 Staircase Trail. All right, pretty exciting stuff, huh? Well, just wait until you see the movie. It is incredible. And I got some incredible remote viewers to take a look at what actually happened to this guy that disappeared on the Staircase Trail back in 2006. So you're gonna wanna keep an eye out for that movie, and in order to get the latest news and information about that movie and everything that's going on at Encounters USA, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll get notified when I post new content. There's a lot of stuff going on now with aliens and Bigfoot and Dogman, and you don't want to be left behind when it comes to this important information. All right, so we're going to talk now a little bit about AI Atlas. And I keep saying AI Atlas because I cannot get it out of my mind, AI, 3i. But no, we're going to talk about 3i Atlas. Now, let's do a little background. I have had 2 guests on this show, and both of them were remote viewers, and both of them had remote viewed AI Atlas. So let's look at what our first remote viewer had to say. And now let's look at what our second remote viewer, David, had to say about the same 3i Atlas object.
I had just reposted, and then I had gotten a tasking that just happened to be the 3AI Atlas, and I was going over both data. I'm like, boy, this is it. This almost looks like the same session.
All right, now these were these videos or these interviews were done back at the late part of September, I believe. So there have been no real updates. What we have is we have daily, we have this Harvard physicist, Avi Loeb, coming out and telling us that this is alien technology, but not providing any proof. And the only proof that they provide is they say, what if this thing actually starts moving towards the Earth? And they say, well, then we'll know it's alien technology. But let me just backtrack a little bit, because at Encounters USA, I want to always be sure that if I'm wrong about something, and you know, we are in the speculation business, if I'm wrong about something, I'll be the first one to tell you. And my original assumption was, my original belief, my original hypothesis, I don't know what it is, like you seem to have a biological life form on it, whatever, but I think that thing is going to hit a certain point. I don't know what planet it goes to, the last one it goes to before it leaves the solar system, if it's Jupiter or Saturn, but I think it's going to slingshot around. I think it's going to just, at the last minute, head in our direction. Was that this AI Atlas, this 3i Atlas, there I go again with AI Atlas, this 3i Atlas, I thought, just from my own thinking, was that that thing was heading for Mars, and it was going to stop at Mars, and once it realized there was no life on Mars, that a long time ago Mars life moved to Earth, then they would leave Mars and they would head for Earth. All right, well, so far none of that's happened, so I'm gonna have to eat a little bit of crow on that one. So right now, I'm just gonna give you an update on, you know, we haven't found any aliens yet. The trajectory of the object of 3i Atlas has not changed or differed from its course, although some are speculating that it will. But right now, I'm just going to give you a quick update on what is happening, and this is according to Stephen Burns and his YouTube channel, which I'll show you a little bit of. All right, so what I want to tell you now is, let's just do a little simulation here. All right, so let's say that this is Earth, okay? And not a very good representation, but this is Earth, okay? And this is AI Atlas, and my head is the sun. So the Earth is going this way, or coming this way, and AI Atlas is coming this way, and AI Atlas is heading out of the solar system towards Jupiter. And while it's heading towards Jupiter, the Earth is coming around the sun, which is my head. And so eventually we'll be able, and I think we probably are able to now, see a little bit of what AI Atlas is actually doing. Now, I'm not going to go into all the physics and everything because you've heard enough, but this thing is rocketing literally, well, not literally, but it is going so fast. It's going 20 times faster than a bullet. It is just hauling through the solar system. So at this point in time, people have been speculating that it will just take a little bit of a shift of gravity for that thing to slingshot around Mars.
It could redirect to Earth. It would have to do a pretty severe reverse thrust to do that based off of our orbital alignments, but it's possible. Or it could do a very slight over-Earth maneuver if it is of alien or technological origin,
and then head for Earth. Well, so far I'm just going to tell you that hasn't happened. There has been no extraterrestrial contact. There's been no confirmation this is any kind of extraterrestrial object. But there are a number of things that have been going on, and I actually tried to make a video yesterday, and as I tried to get updated, it seemed like every 5 minutes they released a new video. So there's a couple things that I want to tell you about 3i Atlas and what it's doing right now. So what the physicists are saying is that as the Atlas is going around my head, the sun, and it's coming out and then heading towards Jupiter, what they're saying is that as it comes around, that through its own power or something else, if it comes around and does not keep going straight, but it comes around and starts to join into a path that is going to intersect the Earth, well, that's what people are really watching for right now. They want to see if this thing's going to come around the sun and then not head to Jupiter, but then head in a direction towards Earth. And that's what this has all been about. It's just about, well, when this thing gets around Jupiter, or when it gets around Mars and the sun, is it going to shift course and head towards the Earth?
to redirect to Jupiter and its moon system, which is what I explored in this video here. Definitely give that a watch. If 3i Atlas is of alien or technological origin, that is what I think is the most likely outcome for it to do. But even if it doesn't do any of these things, and that is my base case, it still has some very interesting things that it is going to participate in over the next few months.
We're going to get another update sometime around, I think around Thanksgiving. Now I'll be giving you more Encounters USA updates, but the 3i Atlas update that people are really waiting for is around Thanksgiving, because that's when it's going to get close, I believe, to Jupiter. And before I almost let you go without even telling you this, that the last thing I wanted to mention about 3i Atlas is that it is getting bombarded, and I'm going to show you a video here from Stephen Burns. It is getting bombarded with ejections from the sun. I mean, the sun is just pasting this thing on an almost daily basis. And it's like almost purposely trying to radiate this thing out of existence.
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stephen Burns here. We have just observed interstellar object 3i Atlas brightening dramatically over the past few days, leading up to its perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, which it performed yesterday, October 29th, at a very close distance of just 1.36 astronomical units. The sun-Earth distance reference is 1 AU. So it's being hit with a ton of solar radiation at that distance, about 735 watts per square meter. In deep interstellar space, it's estimated to be about 10 to the negative 7, 10 to the negative 8 watts per square meter. And during this transit, it also got blasted by a whole bunch of huge coronal mass ejections. Basically, there were a ton of insanely large explosions on the far side of the sun over the past 10 days or so. That is one of the bigger stories here, actually, is about how right now we are in a period of extreme solar activity, one of the biggest in decades. But on the far side of the sun, those solar storms all launched out. A lot of them hit 3i Atlas either directly or with like a side impact.
And so what's going on with that? Well, that's another new development that is going around this 3i Atlas that doesn't have anything to do with aliens, but it has a lot to do with how our sun is reacting to this object. And if any of these ejections happen to not go up from the other side of the sun and they start hitting the Earth, well, we could have a lot of problems. So that's another thing that you need to keep an eye on when it comes to 3i Atlas. So far it hasn't. Okay, so far it is a rock going really fast and flying through space, and that's it, end of story. So I just want to make it clear that I made predictions, and those predictions turned out so far not to be true. Now let me also point out that I've had 2 remote viewers on here. One remote viewer, Kyle, said that this object is full of life forms, but they're basically microbial. That she said they're very small and they're not your humanoid life forms, which we got into when we started interviewing Dave Powell. Now Dave Powell says this ship,
It's part natural and part artificial in that it just makes you wonder, is like, are they building ships to look like meteorites for some reason to protect themselves? I don't know. I don't really know. But it kind of reminds me of that. Like it almost reminds us, it's almost as if
is full of life forms that range from reptilians to humanoids to actual robot sentries. So Dave Powell had a really interesting remote viewing experience with this thing. And so unfortunately, I wanted to get those guys onto the podcast. We agreed to do it before Halloween. Unfortunately, they both have commitments, so they're not able to do this podcast and give us any updates on what they see or what they believe is happening with AI Atlas. But at this point in time, AI Atlas is nothing more than just a rock traveling really fast through our solar system. So there's your Encounters USA updates for today. I don't want to take a lot of time. I know you guys are getting your Halloween costumes ready and getting ready to go take the kids out trick-or-treating or whatever it is you do on Halloween. But before we go into that, or before you get into that, I need to give you some Encounters USA advice for when you're out taking your kids trick-or-treating. So here's 10 places you shouldn't trick-or-treat on Halloween in 2025. So let's get started. All right, number 1 place you should not trick-or-treat on Halloween is if you see a police line, do not cross state. Probably not a good idea to trick-or-treat at that location. All right, number 2, if there are flames coming out of the windows, well, you're probably going to want to avoid that location as well. It could be a little bit dangerous, of course, unless you're dressed like a fireman. All right, number 3, if you hear gunfire from a house, coming out of a house, probably not the best place to trick or treat. So go ahead and avoid any place that has gunfighter at the house. All right, so number 4, if you knock on the door and they ask for the password, well, then probably if the password is not trick or treat, you don't want to be in that house. So best to move on and head on down the street. All right, number 5 place you don't want to trick or treat. You don't want to trick or treat any place that has Kamala Harris posters in the yard. That's right, you don't want to trick or treat any place that has Kamala Harris posters in the yard. Why? Because, well, it's probably Kamala Harris's house, because who else would put their election posters up in their own yard this late in the season? So avoid Kamala Harris posters in the yard houses. All right. Now, the next one you want to avoid when you're trick-or-treating, the next place is a homeless encampment. Now, homeless people don't have a lot of money to spend on tricks or treats, and they're probably not going to have a doorbell even to ring, and it's very hard to knock on that tent. So just to avoid problems and embarrassment or a serious beating, I would avoid a homeless encampment completely. All right, number 7, the place you want to avoid is a CIA safe house. That's right. If you answer, or if you knock on the door and guys with dark suits and sunglasses show up and ask you what you're doing there, and they have guns, probably not a place you want to spend a lot of time to, and definitely don't take any treats from them. All right, number 8. Another place you don't want to trick or treat is if the place has bars on the windows. That's right, those bars, you know, to keep people from either getting in or getting out. Not sure why they're there, but if there are bars on the windows and doors, well, you might want to avoid that place and that neighborhood entirely. All right, number 9. We're getting down to the last of the tricks and treats tips for 2025. Number 9, the place you want to avoid. Number 8 was bars on the windows. Number 9, you want to avoid bars. That's right, kids don't go into bars. You're not old enough to drink, and if you trick or treat there, the only thing they're going to be able to give you is booze. And so if you're not old enough to drink, you're going to get in a lot of trouble if you go home all tanked and mom and dad find out. All right, or they find a bottle of tequila in your bag. So no bars, kids. Stay out of the bars on Halloween night. All right, and number 10, the number 110, the top place that you do not want to trick or treat for all the reasons I mentioned above and many, many more. You don't want to trick or treat in California. That's right, you don't want to trick or treat in California. A lot of crazy people there doing crazy things, and who knows what your kids are going to end up, or where they're going to end up if you send them out trick-or-treating in the state of California. Well, all right, you guys, so this has been our Halloween edition of Encounters USA. We've talked about our exciting new movie. The Olympic National Park Missing 911 series is debuting with the Staircase Trail. And in that, you're going to see what happened to Gilbert Gilman, who disappeared without a trace. So we've also talked about 3I Atlas and what the current status of that comet, satellite, or alien ship. We've talked about that. So we have got a lot of stuff that is coming up this year, and of course I need to keep you posted on where my latest movie, and remember, this is part of a 3 to 4 part series. So you'll want to subscribe and you'll want to stay posted, because these other movies are going to come out a lot faster. It took me a year to make the first one because I spent a lot of time out in the Olympic National Park filming, but now that I've got all my filming and my video and everything done, I really just have to put things together. So it won't take another year before you see the next installment of my Olympic National Park Missing series. All right, you guys, well, this is Halloween, and I too need to get ready. I need to get this video posted, and me and my wife are getting ready for Halloween ourselves. So I just want to tell you that when you are watching 3I Atlas, or you are watching my latest movie about missing people in the Olympic National Park, don't forget what I always say at Encounters USA, and that is always watch your back.